So that was my little campsite in the middle of nowhere in the farming region, and the cost for that was €15 a night, which was really good. And this morning it's a little bit overcast, so it's a little bit cooler. And it's 22 degrees. It's lovely. I don't know, it's like being from Northern Europe. You know, you always think, oh, I'd love to be in the hot weather, because we spend most of our life in the cold weather. And then when you get into the hot weather, when you get into really hot weather, it almost becomes relentless. And you start longing for a little bit of coolness sometimes. So it's beautiful countryside, absolutely beautiful. If you do come here though, bring lots of mosquito repellent, because they're little swines, they're like ninjas. You just don't know they're on you, and they're eating away at you, and the next thing you've got bites everywhere. Being a man of limited vocabulary, I find it hard to put into words the beauty of rural Italy. It's so green, it's so lush. Just a few minutes ago I saw a deer, but the camera wasn't running. It's beautiful, and what amazes me the most is you'll see a hillside, a bit of cliff, a steep drop, and yet there'll be a house there. Someone's built a house there, or a farm. It's absolutely amazing. God, I'm loving this, bend after bend. And you don't need to go fast, you just dawdle along nicely. To be honest, you can't go too fast because you never know what's around the next corner. But rural Italy is just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Here we are, San Feliciano. And just over there is Lake Trasimeno, Lago Trasimeno. Hello. Hello. Welcome, thank you. And hello the internet, and hello to my subscriber. And that was a long day today, a long hot day, and I managed to get here, got here about 5, no problem, found a space. I'm just on a campsite just over there, and my tent is just about there. But it's a nice little campsite, it's a nice big campsite, a lot of permanent pitches there, but it's costing €10 a night, which is €5 to camp and €5 for the bike, so that's a bargain. And they've got a peaks area on the site as well, so I'm going to be checking that out later. But this is Lake Trasimeno, and the sun has just gone down. There's a nice little pier here, there's a little harbour just behind me, and the name of the place is there. So that was it was a pretty hot day today. It's about 30 degrees. Now when I was in Austria, I bought the trousers that I had on my textile trousers. Even though they had vents on them, they were really hot. So when I was in Austria, when I was in Innsbruck, I bought some mesh trousers, and what a lifesaver. But my jacket is still hot, so while I'm here down in Perugia, I'm going to find a shop that sells motorcycle clothing. I'm going to buy myself a mesh jacket as well, because it really is hot, 30 degrees. And as I go further south, I was looking at the temperature map today, and it's 35 degrees down in southern Italy. So yeah, I'm going to get a mesh jacket. But other than that, today it took me most of the day. I left at 10 and I just meandered. I didn't take any autostradas today. I tried to cut through mostly on A road, a couple of jumps on tangentiales, which are like dual carriageways. But for most of the day, I've tried to keep off the motorways, and it's been pretty good. I had all day to get it. It was 300 kilometres, which was 250 miles. I had all day to do it, so I was in no rush, which was pretty good. But yeah, I went through some lovely countryside. As I was leaving Vicenza, it was very mountainous, very green, very hilly. And then as I got down to Bologna, it just got flatter and flatter and flatter. And then you come through all the agricultural centre, the agricultural heart of Italy. So I'm going to be here for a few days at €10 a night. I might stay 5 nights actually, and take a couple of days chilling out. At the moment I'm still struggling to make video. I've been shooting video as I've been going along, but I'm really struggling to edit it at the moment because I've got a travel battery, but I'm very reticent to use it to power the laptop because once I've used that, then I've got nothing to recharge my lights, my intercom so I can listen to music, my GoPro batteries on my phone if I need to. So what I need to do is get into a hotel for a couple of days, so I've got constant power supply and I can catch up on my editing. So what I might do is, as I get further down Italy, I might book into a hotel for a couple of days and see how it goes. So this is me in the middle of Italy. So if you go down to Rome and go up a little bit towards the centre, you've got Lake Trasimeno, and that's where I am, in the centre of Umbria. And just south of us is Perugia, and to the northwest of us is Siena. So I'm going to go to Perugia while I'm here, I've got to go to Siena, and there's a few other places I want to see as well. So thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye. And hello the internet, and hello to my subscriber. And what a beautiful morning it is today. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. It's starting to get warm already. Now today, oh, and the bike's all packed as well. Now today what I was going to do, I was going to head south towards Bari or Brindisi, and I was going to get the ferry over to Greece, but I've had a change of heart. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head directly east. I'm going to go to Ancona. And then there's a ferry tonight from Ancona about 7:30, and that gets into Croatia tomorrow morning about 7 o'clock in the morning, and that means I've got a day of riding ahead of me. So what I may do is sort of head south a little bit and then head north into Bosnia, and then probably stay somewhere around Mostar or Sarajevo, something like that. But there we go, and that's been a superb couple of days in Umbria. Beautiful. I just love this part of the world, and this campsite is really good. It's right by the water, and it's €14 a night. The showers are really hot as well, which is good. And it's just chilled out, and also the campsite owner is a biker as well, so you can have a good chat about bikes if you want. So that's me. I'm going to get on the road, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye. Well, there we go. Goodbye, Lake Trasimeno. And it's been a great few days. A nice little campsite this is. Peaceful. So now we're off to Ancona, and I was supposed to leave about an hour ago, but I got chatting to the owner, and man, that guy's done some things. He's been a motocrosser most of his life. He's been around Africa, he's been all through the Sahara, Algeria, Libya, and he's in his 70s now, and he can't walk very well. His knees and his back and everything, I suppose. It's one of the things you spend most of your life doing, exciting things that are quite physical, and it takes its toll. So today, Ancona, it's not much at all. It's about a 2 hours drive. I've set the sat-nav to give me a fun route rather than the straightforward route, so we'll see what it comes up with. But what are we now? 25 degrees. So yeah. I hate it when you come out of the tunnels, because all of a sudden there's this shock of light. Anyway, goodbye Umbria, goodbye Perugia. Maybe see you again next year, I don't know. So let's get on with the ride. I asked my sat-nav to take me on a fun route, Some fun route this is. Gosh. It's been like this now for about 2 kilometres. And don't know what the hassle is. Poor old GS riders, I think they're a bit scared. Oh, it's a bit tight, that one. Oh my God. Tangentially, I was due to come off shortly anyway, but I was creeping through and I saw an exit, so I thought, right, that'll do for me, so I came off and finally got some air through my jacket. Only I've got away from that now, and we've got the world's slowest motorhome at the front. It's doing about 35 kilometres, and you can do 50 along here, but that was brutal, that, because it was quite a narrow road sometimes, you know, on the autostrada, but because it's a tangentiale, it's not a proper motorway, it's like a dual carriageway, so it's quite narrow. And I got to a point where I just couldn't go any further, and you sat there going slower and slower, and you can feel the sweat trickling down your back, and I thought, I've got to get off. Anyway, I'm moving again now, even though I'm behind the world's slowest motorhome. I'll get past this in a bit. So that should be me for the rest of the day now. I shouldn't have to go for the rest of the morning. I shouldn't have to go back on any dual carriageway or anything like that. So as I was coming this way, I thought I'd stop and have a look at this place up there on the hill. This is Assisi. Yeah, St. Francis of Assisi. So it was on the route anyway. I was just looking ahead on the map, and I thought, yeah, I'll come and have a look. Now, I came here years and years ago, but I can't remember it. But I'll come and have another look anyway. What a beautiful part of the world there. All the crops are out. Nice and green. that was Assisi, and I just thought, because it's in the morning and it's a Monday, that it might be easier to walk around, but it was absolutely mobbed. Thousands and thousands of people milling around, talking when they weren't supposed to be talking, stopping to have a conversation halfway up the stairs. Well, they've come to see it just like I have, but I thought maybe it won't be too busy, but it was very. When I came here about, when was it, 30 odd years ago, we actually parked the car just right outside, almost outside the church really. There's a church and there's a big piece of grass, and just near there we parked the car near there, and my kids were just playing around on the grass outside the church, because I remember taking a picture of my son stood outside the chapel. There it is. So went down there, so St. Francis is interred. Had a look inside the the main. Well, there's a chapel downstairs, and then there's a big, the main church upstairs. The artwork is absolutely incredible, absolutely incredible. All the walls, all the ceilings, telling stories, and in the lower chapel as well, absolutely incredible. So I parked the bike in the underground car park. I was there about an hour and 20 minutes. It cost me €4, so can't complain. So let's go to Livorno, and my GPS is taking me cross country, so hopefully I get lots of nice scenery on the way rather than the tangenziale. I'm really enjoying this Honda Transalp. I mean, with the Suzuki, big V-twin, lots of power, and you could more or less leave it in one gear on roads like this, and you just go up and down the revs, because it was so much torque, it would just pull you up. What I'm finding with the Transalp though, it's just as good. I'm in 4th gear now, I'm just tooting it along, and if I want to I can twist the throttle back and it goes. Oh dear. Didn't see that one coming. And I'm having no problems with it at all, and it really does like this sort of riding. You can just tootle along. I've got to use the gears more than I would have in the Suzuki, because you've got less torque with this. And the only other issue I have with this bike is just the rear suspension. The rear suspension's not very good at all. That's my major criticism with the bike really, it's the rear suspension. It's very bouncy, and I've adjusted it this way, I've adjusted it that way, and I've got it quite firm, but instead of just taking the bounce, you just seem to get into some. There we go. Anyway, that's my moan over for the day. But it just seems to love roads like this. There's no problem at all. And like I said, I've got to use the gears more than I would have with the Suzuki. I find I have to brake a lot more, or use the brakes a lot more, because with the big V-twin on the Suzuki you could just throttle off and the engine braking would slow you down, but the engine braking's not, it's pretty weak on this because it's an upright flat twin, so it's not built for that, and it's quite a shallow stroke. But in fact it's a longer stroke and a shallower piston. But oh, look at this countryside, it's lovely, isn't it? Sometimes you never know when there's someone around that other bend. The other thing I found with the Transat as well is the front end is quite good. The front end on the Suzuki was really stiff, but it was really good when the road was rough. But I'm finding with the Honda it's pretty good all times. I have bottomed it out a couple of times when I've been off-roading with it, but no suspension is perfect. Especially if you want a suspension to work off-road and on-road, you can't do that. You know, suspension is either good for one thing or the other. But the front end is pretty good, but the back end, it's manageable. I am thinking of putting another suspension unit on the back end, but that's like spending more money, so I'll probably just make do with what I've got, to be honest. Although I have had a few hairy moments with it, especially when it's been loaded, and sometimes you hit a bit of road where it's really undulating and the back end seems to get out of control, but that's because I'm heavily loaded and maybe I was going a little bit faster than I was supposed to go. But so far I really haven't got any complaints about this bike. It's pretty good. It's pretty damn good. It's great on fuel economy. It just does everything I want it to do. Yeah. So that's the Transat. I'm glad I bought it. Yes, definitely. I could have bought a Tenere, but I did a test ride on a Tenere, but to tell you the truth, I didn't like it. There was the 800 Suzuki, but to tell you the truth, I think it looks ugly and it's very heavy. It's 230 kilos and it was a lot more expensive than this. A lot more expensive than this. So I ended up with a Honda, and am I sad about it? No, definitely not. I'm quite glad, actually. I'm quite glad. It really, really is growing on me. Oh, I should have took that other turn in. One thing I do like about this bike, it's got a really light clutch. Considering the Suzuki had a hydraulic clutch, it was very stiff. And sometimes, like in these conditions where you have to use your clutch a lot, sometimes it was a bit tiring with for your hand. dreaded fear sometimes as you come down a track like this and then you find it's a dead end. That was fun because I haven't really got off-road tyres on. Just that last bit there, because it was quite gravelly, my back wheel was I was using the brake, but because I've got no knobbly bits to get a grip, the back end was just skidding. But I thought, oh, we're gonna go over. We made it. We made it. Oh, look at that beautiful view. For the last 20 miles to Ancona, I've come back onto the autostrada, and I can't believe it, it's empty. The autostrada is, except for the occasional truck, the occasional car, the autostrada is empty. But the surface is a bit challenging. Some of the bumps, I've seen some big potholes. But yeah, I've got about 26 miles to go, 30 kilometres, and sort of getting a bit peckish now, and I could do with something to drink. So I've come onto the autostrada to get to Ancona, and I can have something to eat and drink, and then I can book my ferry ticket for tonight, because I've not booked it yet. I thought I'll do that when I get to Ancona. I'll have plenty of time. I've not even booked my accommodation for tomorrow yet. I'll book that as well this afternoon. But the ferry doesn't leave till 7:30, so I've got lots of time. outside. Well, I haven't got far from the lifeboats, and that was Ancona. And hello the internet, and hello to my subscriber. And here I am in my palatial 4-berth cabin with a window with a sea view, and next to the lifeboats just in case. And that was an experience. When I was in Naples last year, I thought that was quite a bit of a strange experience, actually getting onto the ferry. But here was no different. Finally found the terminal where you had to get your ticket. Even though I had my online ticket, doesn't matter. You've still got to go to the ticket office to get your biglietto. And I finally found it because it's not very clearly marked. Got my ticket, queued up, got on. My God, you should have seen the bikes. There was hundreds of bikes. Loads and loads of Harleys, because there's an Italian Harley club. They're all going off for a rally somewhere. And there's about 200 Africa Twins, something to do with the Honda off-road people. And there's all these people from all over Europe. They've all come down to Italy, been given their factory Africa Twin, and they're all going over to Split, then they're going over to Bosnia, and then they're all racing down to Istanbul cross country. So loads of them. I could do with some Africa Twin wheels, because my wheels have inner tubes, where the Africa Twin wheels, which are the same as mine, or they will fit mine, they have tubeless. But yeah, about 200 of them, amazing. Anyway, I'm on the ferry. Tomorrow we get into Split about 7 o'clock in the morning, and yeah, I'm going to get some breakfast first, find some breakfast, and then I've got to wait for an insurance office to open. I'll find one during the day as I go south, because I need insurance to go to Bosnia, because my UK insurance doesn't cover it. And also as I go further down, I'll need insurance for Albania, Kosovo, everything else in between really. I was going to go over to Serbia, but I've got to pay about €100 for insurance, about 80 or 90 euros, and just for a few days I'm not going to pay it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to head down to Greece. I'm going to do that down the Asiatic coast. Yeah, that seems like a plan. So tomorrow, get off, breakfast, insurance, head south, and then I'm going to cut into Bosnia, head up to Mostar, where I booked myself a B&B for a couple of nights. And it'll be the first time I've slept in a bed for nearly a month, which will be a pleasant experience, and have some nice food, and also catch up with some video editing. And then hopefully I'll have a couple of days out as well. I want to go to Sarajevo and some other places around. Yeah, so this is me on the ferry next to the lifeboat with a window. A shame I haven't got a balcony, but there you go. You can't have everything. The ferry cost me about £180, which is about 140 for the crossing, and just over 40, about £45 for the cabin. And strangely enough, the cabins with the window were cheaper than the cabins for the inside. I can't understand that, because I kept saying this cabin, this, and comparing the prices. And yet the cabin with the window was cheapest. So I don't know, maybe people are frightened of the rocking around left to right. But I'll sleep like a log tonight, undoubtedly, because I love being at sea. And it's an overnight crossing, but I don't think it'll be very rough, I'm afraid. So I'm just looking forward for when we leave, and I can go upstairs and enjoy the view as we leave. So thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye. And good morning, Croatia. That was quite a pleasant crossing. In fact, you didn't even know you were on a ship, to be honest. It was that calm. But it was quite warm in the cabin actually, but I woke up a bit chilly through the night. That's put me cover on, but it was good. When I went to get an evening meal last night, there was a queue a mile long, so I just got the world's biggest panini, and that did me. And 2 bottles of Beck's beer as well, which went down quite well. Went down worryingly fast, to be honest. That was quite simple getting off. There was no passport control or anything, you just came straight off. Right, I ain't got a clue where I'm going, so I'm going to have to stop in a little while. See where I am. And it's 25 degrees. Lovely. Right, green south, there we go, Dubrovnik. Oh, that's the way south. Now, I've got to be careful about junctions and speeding and things like that, because apparently the police will issue fines on the spot, which means you've got to have enough money to pay your fine. So where am I heading now? Well, I'm going to head south a little bit, and there's a insurance office I want to go to get some insurance for Bosnia and all points beyond, and I'll be heading into Bosnia. So I'm going to go down a little bit, and then I'm going to go left a little bit, which will take me into Bosnia and take me to Mostar. Guess who's forgotten to download maps for his navigator? So here I am in Bosnia. I crossed the border a little while ago. I went to put my camera on, but I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. Anyway, passed through the border, out of the EU and into Bosnia. No problem at all, just show your passport, show your V5 and you're through. About 3 or 4 kilometres after the border, there is a small town, and there was an insurance office there, so I got insurance for the bike, which was €17 for 1 week. When she asked me initially, I said 1 week, and then she was doing some paperwork, and then I had a change of heart and I said no, 2 weeks. Well, she says too late, I've made it out for 1 week, so if I need to stay longer I can always go and find another insurance office. But she spoke good English, had a little chat as well, she's really nice. and I got my insurance, and that was it. So now I've got time to kill before I've got to be in Mostar. Earliest I can go into the accommodation is 2 o'clock, so I've got a couple of hours to kill. So I was looking on the map and I saw there was a lake about 20 kilometres away, so I'm going to look at this lake. But so far in Croatia and Bosnia, the roads are good. Well, they sort of differ really. They're pretty similar to Italy in that they can be very good or they can be a little bit bumpy. As for the driving, it's pretty safe. It's sort of a bit like Italy again. It can go either go very slow and very steady like this guy in front, to very fast indeed. A few times I've had to sort of move aside and just wave them through. I wasn't going to start playing silly games. But another thing I've got to remember in Bosnia, there's lots of speed cameras. Whether they work or not, I do not know, but everyone seems to most people seem to stick to the speed limit. So when in Rome, but I'm in no rush anyway, so I've got plenty of time. There's no reason to go. You see the map and you see some bendy bits and you think, well, this would be a nice bit of road, but just got to take it easy. But so far everything's peaceful. When you get into towns and villages, junctions are a little bit hairy, as there doesn't seem to be. I mean, you've got markings on the road to turn left and things like that, but no one seems to pay much attention to it. So just got to make it up as you go along, really. Of course, try and be courteous. Don't push in too much. I'm not sure about queue jumping because there was some traffic works this morning, and I just got on the outside and just rode up the middle, rode along the outside. There was some road works and like a contraflow, and I got to one pit and someone started shaking their arms. I don't know whether it's a done thing here, I don't know. But except for Split, where all the bikes were getting off the ferry, I've not seen many motorcycles, because usually you can watch motorcycles and see what they do, and then you know how far you can push your own riding a little bit, really. So this is Bosnia. Oh, that's a little bit unexpected. Looks beautiful in summer, but I'll tell you it's a little bit different in winter. Not as forgiving. Most of Bosnia is just like this, just undulating, mountainous, with lots of twisty roads. But I'm enjoying this, no pressure. Certainly no pressure to go fast, and I don't want to anyway. I'm quite happy just tootling along, minding my own business. And I'm going to find this lake, I'm going to have a stop and maybe something to eat. Might have a cup of tea. Yeah, when I got my insurance, I thought, where shall I go now? I've got time to kill. There's a couple of lakes nearby, and I thought, I saw this one, I thought I'll give it a go. It's about 30 kilometres, and maybe have some lunch there. Lots of insects. I lowered my screen, and of course the insects come straight over, straight into my face. But I've just come up high, and it's the temperature just dropped down to 23, and it's a refreshing, cool breeze. another thing as well, when I was a little bit further on, I kept seeing warning signs saying beware of the bears and beware of the wolves. So I don't think this is a part of the world for wild camping somehow. Not with bears and wolves hanging around. That was not far out. I first started seeing the warning signs about 10 kilometres outside Split, and invariably I keep seeing the odd signs, warning sign of bears and wolves. So it's still a little bit of a wilderness. Whether there are any bears or wolves left, I do not know. Oh, look at this countryside, it's beautiful. Just trying to think where this reminds me of. I think this reminds me of a little bit of Sardinia. No, Corsica. I think that reminds me more of Corsica, to be honest. Sardinia was a little bit greener. Yeah, this is very much like Corsica. Right, I'm going to put some music on now. I'll leave you in peace. Well, this seems like a nice spot for some lunch. Beautiful, and it's so peaceful. And hello the internet, and hello to my subscriber, and a hello to Wills and to Callum and to Tom. Anyway, I'm here in Mostar in Bosnia, and it's been an interesting day. I was up nice and early, about 6 o'clock in the morning. I just woke up. I had my alarm set, but I just woke up before my alarm. So I was ready, and I was on the upper deck of the ferry as we came into Split, and it was really warm and it was sunny and it was beautiful. So got down to the bike when they opened up the garage downstairs, and I was off quite quickly, and it was just a case of getting out of the city, hanging a left and following the autostrada to Dubrovnik. But after a while I cut off, and I headed to I headed to the border near a place called I can't pronounce it, I'm sorry, I just can't pronounce it, but got through the border from Croatia into Bosnia, no problem at all. You just come to the EU border, show your passport, you're through. Go to the Bosnia border, show your V5, your passport, and you're through. And a couple of kilometres down the road, there was a small town beginning with P. There was an insurance shop there, and I got some insurance for the bike, which was 17 euros for 1 week. And that's me legal. And then after that, I had time to kill, because while I was at the insurance office, I booked some accommodation in Mostar. It's like a guest house really, although sort of like a mini hotel I suppose, or a guest house. But I booked it while I was waiting in the insurance office, because for a simple bit of insurance there was a whole lot of keyboard activity going on. But I just went to booking.com, found something in Mostar, and I booked it. And the earliest I could be here was 2 o'clock, so I had time to kill. So what I did, I headed northwest, and I sort of came around in a big loop, and I came down to Mostar, and I got here for just after 2, and that was it. I've got my bike parked up out front, got all the luggage off, and I've got a nice little room there. So while I'm here, I can do some laundry, I can sleep in a bed, proper bed, and have a shower every day. and also catch up on some video editing as well, because I've been shooting video as I've been going along, but I have had the chance to edit, but I don't know what it is. I sitting in my tent in the evening editing video, that's one thing, but the other thing is having the power to power my laptop. And I have a leisure battery, but I don't want to use 100% of it just purely on powering the laptop. And most of the campsites I've been staying at have been a little bit iffy for electricity. Fine if you've got a caravan or something like that, but if you're on a tent, it's a bit different if you're in a tent. Anyway, that's my problem to solve. So I'm here now in Bosnia, so tomorrow I'm going to have a day of video editing and hopefully get some videos edited and uploaded to YouTube. And then the day after I'm going to do some sightseeing. There's a museum, a genocide museum that I want to go and visit, and there's some other bits and pieces in Mostar that I want to go and visit. And then the day after I've got to move again, so I'm thinking I may go up to Sarajevo for a few days, and then from that I'm going to go over to Montenegro. I've never been to Montenegro before, but I believe it's quite nice, so I'm definitely going to give it a go. After that, I suppose the only logical alternative is either to go through Albania and then into Greece, or to come back over towards Bosnia and Croatia and cut into Hungary, I don't know. I'll get to Montenegro, and I'll see how I feel after then. So this is me in Bosnia. It's nice and warm, and this the Globus hotel is really quite nice, a bit eclectic, but the garden is beautiful because you can sit in the back and it's covered with trees and you just don't feel the sun at all. So yeah, I'm just sat in the back garden surrounded by these lovely beautiful green trees, and it's nice and cool. So thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye bye.